Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio. And today we've got our official prices. So taking a look at the Sunday preview, obviously know it is a big preview, big pre-order this week, but limited in items. So we got a big box coming out, but not a bunch of other stuff. So grab your machete and cut your way into the lush new edition of Warcry. So we obviously know the new Warcry is coming out this week. Warcry Heart of Ghur. I've dived pretty deep into this overall. We know what comes in the set. We know that this is not just an expansion. It is a new edition of Warcry. So far, looks like minimal changes. They're going to be like redoing the cards. They're going to be redoing all of the gang stuff. There's going to be a compendium coming out similar to Kill Team. That will have all of the existing rules in it, and then that way you'll be able to basically get everything in one place and then add in. And when I say all the rules, I mean like the gang rules and sheets and everything. You'll still need the core rulebook from this set, and then there's also the other book that comes in this box set as well, that we'll assume will have all of the rules for these warbands in it. Then there is a new token sheet. It appears to be at first glance the same tokens, just a different background. The previous token sheet was like black in the background. This one has like the yellow, so it fits in line, or the orange kind of fits in line with this box. There's 2 stacks of cards shown right here. We don't know if there's actually more cards than that. But previously there was like terrain cards, deployment cards, etc., etc. So we don't know what's going to happen now. They used to have twists. I don't know if there's still going to be twists, etc. The only changes we've actually seen so far are like the reactions that were added in, similar to Horus Heresy. We'll talk just a little bit about that. And then also here's like your actual like gang cards right here. Now I don't see like a big ability card like you normally get with the gangs, unfortunately, because those are nice to have. But overall, it is a nice box set. It's 2 of the warbands, obviously new warbands, 2 sets of the same scatter terrain, and then essentially like 4 different bigger pieces of terrain. 2 large trees, 1 large skull, and then this one is sort of like the smaller one. And then obviously we got some bridges between. And then, like I said, it's just 2 sets of the same scatter terrain. Overall, nice models, nice box. I'm excited for it. Good looking stuff right here. Both of the new gangs are pretty cool. The Rotmire Creed is obviously like a little bit kind of nurgly, but a little more like organic, living in the swamp. All kinds of like bamboo and stuff. And then the what was the other one's name again? Horns of Hasut. I don't actually see it, but yeah, the Horns of Hasut are a little bit more, I don't know, they kind of remind me of the Iron Golems, with maybe just a little more like culty kind of cow worshipping. They definitely have a sort of, they look cool. I like them, definitely. They have an interesting kind of feel to them. But overall, I would say good quality, guys. And then you get, what, 10 in one and 3, 6, 10 in the other. So 10 and 10, so that's cool. Obviously nice to see 10 versus 10, so most likely going to be like a pretty even matchup overall. And then seeing all the terrain here. Both of the large trees are pretty cool. It took a little time for them to grow on me. I had to kind of read a little bit of the backstory and see that they're not just trees. They're sort of like flesh trees with little creepy fingers and stuff. So I kind of like that. The scatter terrain looks good. Various pieces of like ruins, bamboo, and bones seems to be the overall aesthetic. And then all the little like rope bridges between them are pretty cool. I think this will be really nice if you add in some of your own kind of stuff. Maybe like some rocky bits or outcrops or something like that. Or this would be really nice added into an existing set. So you could take like some of your regular ruins, add this stuff all into it, and it just kind of looks like the ruined area got overgrown over time. So I really like it. I like that it can go kind of with anything. Like you could have a bunch of regular trees and put them on the set and it would look nice. You could have a bunch of the traditional like kind of ruins, it would look nice. You could put some statues here, you know, pretty much anything would look good with this set. Obviously we also saw there was like some recent skull themed stuff in the Thondia set. That stuff would go really nice in here where you have like a big spine and head and everything. So really like how well this will sort of mix in with pretty much any terrain. So really nice overall. Very, very cool. And looking forward to see what comes overall. It did take a little time for this to grow on me, but I like it. So it comes with the Warcry book and then the Warband tome, which is what they're calling the other one, with all the rules for the other two warbands. So pretty much everything you need. I didn't actually see in the picture dice. They don't actually show dice or like a measuring device. But obviously if this is a starter set, we would assume that it's going to come with the dice and measuring gauge as well. And then Games Workshop offering up their exclusive Heart of Ghur combat gauge. So if you purchase directly from Games Workshop, you get this for free from the online store. Typically these items sell afterwards for somewhere between $30 and $60 on in general. And typically you can get like 15 to 20% off of Games Workshop. So spoiler alert, you know, if you're gonna save 15 bucks not buying from Games Workshop, you know, this thing is basically costing you like 40 bucks or something like that. So, you know, it's up to you. I think it's pretty cool. It's definitely awesome, but not worth like 40 bucks, especially when I already have a bunch of them. And the one that I actually bought that they sell for Warcry, I want to say was like 25 bucks or 27 bucks. So just to give you a rough idea. But you do save a little bit ordering directly from them. So I'm sorry, you pay a little more, but you get that item. Or you could save a bit and not get that. Comes with a commemorative box, magnetic lid, blah, blah, blah. They are cool, and they're nice quality. They're definitely nice to have. You'll be able to bring your warbands from the first edition of Warcry into the Gnarlwood. More than 800 fighters are getting fully updated rules, including new profiles and warband reactions. All of which you'll be able to find in Warcry Compendium, which will be out just a couple of weeks after the new box set. This weighty tome covers every warband from Grand Alliance Order, Chaos, Death, and Destruction, alongside their allies, monsters, and thralls. It's the essential companion for any existing Warcry player. So one nice thing about Warcry in the past is there hasn't been a ton of rules bloat or book bloat. I don't think it's crazy to think that you're going to need the new rulebook and the compendium, or the new rulebook and whatever new box or expansion has your gang rules in it. So I think it's pretty realistic to think you're going to need probably at least like 2 books to play this game now, which is pretty standard overall, especially for GW games. 2 books is not that bad. So overall, looks good. Definitely excited for it. Now that being said, you know, there's some announcements about Gen Con and some other stuff down here. But that's it for this week's pre-order. So we have a cool combat gauge if you buy directly from Games Workshop. And then obviously we have the box set. A couple of the components not shown right here, but we can assume it's going to come with some cheap, flimsy little plastic ruler. We can assume it's going to come with the Warcry dice. I believe I've seen them pictured somewhere else already. And then that pretty much takes care of business. You know what, too, I'm noticing is this stack of cards appears to be bigger than this stack of cards. So maybe this is the larger ability card, and then actually like the gang cards are on here too, like the larger size gang cards instead of just the small ones. I don't know, I'm really not sure. I like everything about how Warcry was already, so honestly the less changes the better. I think the idea of reactions is pretty cool, especially I want to say for newer players, but you're probably not going to be good with reactions if you're a newer player. But somewhere in between, like being brand new and being a veteran, I think the reactions will help you in some poor moves. Because it's not hard in this game for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing to constantly move into a engagement range and then have one guy kind of isolated out there, and then the player who goes next runs up and kills that guy. And then the next guy moves up into engagement range, and then of course, you know, has to use both its moves to get to where it needs to be. And then again, you can run up and kind of kill that guy. So there's definitely some reasons to have like reactions or some kind of ability like that. I really do like the idea of it. We'll see how it changes the dynamic. We'll see how it changes the actual game and everything. But I do like the idea of some kind of like reaction or something like that. But the truth is, you know, with a alternating activation skirmish game, the most the other person could ever really have without you having a turn normally is one activation, and then it's your turn to activate. Alternatively, now your opponent you could activate, then your opponent could react, then your opponent could activate again, and then you could react, and then you could get an activation. So now you can essentially chain, it sounds like 2 activations in a row, 1 reaction and 1 regular action. Not too crazy. I don't think it's going to break the game or anything like that. Definitely exciting. So that being said, obviously talked quite a bit about the set and everything. The most important thing though is the price. I know that's why you guys are all here. So once again, Greed Workshop is at it again. So they recently have raised the Warcry box sets up to $210, and that was the new price point for them. This one is going up again. It is now $230. So $230 for this set. Where does that stack up? Well, one, Warcry is not a very popular game to begin with. So putting it at a premium price, in my opinion, is not a great idea. Going over $200, again, makes it hard for people to get into the game. Because now you're talking about 2 players splitting a game and it's still costing over $100 each. Or one person dropping, you know, with tax and everything else on top of that, you know, probably close to like $250. And then you got to get the compendium, so now you're talking $300. So it gets pretty pricey pretty quick. Not as much as like Necromunda or some of the other games, or like the big games, but again, I think it's a mistake to go up to $230 on this box set. The previous 2 Warcry box sets didn't sell particularly well. They're both still available. You can still get both of them easily online for well under retail. As far as and also $230 USD American or $280 Canadian for my Canadian viewers out there. I know there's quite a few of you guys, so I always like to let you know as well. So, in my opinion, too expensive. Now, granted, I say that a lot. I give Games Workshop props when they price things appropriately. I obviously give them hell when they price things too much. And the fact of the matter is, if this was a 40K game, if this was, you know, some even kill team, I would say you could get away with like the $230 thing. But Warcry is just not a popular game at all. The skirmish games are much less popular than 40K and Sigmar. And then all the 40K stuff is much more popular than all the Sigmar stuff. So you have a game that's not popular because it's Sigmar. And then also it's not popular because it's the skirmish version. So you have a double kind of like weakness. And then you're going to go with new premium pricing. It's just nuts. I mean, it's crazy. If Games Workshop didn't have ridiculously high profit margins, I could say, well, whatever, inflation, all this stuff. But the truth is they are using everything going on in the world right now to far outpace their costs with more profits. Which, again, they're a business. They're publicly traded. Their goal is to make money. I get it. But as far as the longevity of their business, as far as the longevity of the hobby or the growth of the hobby, it's not going to happen if they keep doing this. We just saw massive price increases with the Necromunda stuff. And like the new Necromunda box set came out at $300, which is just absolutely insane. Granted, it's loaded with stuff and, you know, it's super cool and, you know, it's the new big thing. I get it. And same with the Horus Heresy. That's really loaded with stuff, and that was $300. Arguably, deservingly in comparison. No train, but tons of models. This set, it only went up $20 because I was expecting it at $210. I did not expect a price range. So it went up about 10%. But realistically, is it worth an extra 10% here? Or are we just paying because GW thinks they can charge it? Is this going to help grow Warcry as a hobby? Or is this going to hurt the game? I wouldn't mind this set being $230 nearly as much if they had a kill team style starter set for Warcry as well. So you basically for you know $100 you can buy it, and it comes with a condensed version of the core rulebook, like mini rulebook, your tokens, your measuring device, your dice, your cards, and then you get only the scatter terrain, none of the big stuff, and then the 2 warbands. So basically an exact duplicate of the kill team starter set for $100. then that's fine. Go ahead, raise the base price for somebody to get into the game for $230, etc. But my main problem is that the barrier to entry is always a huge factor with these skirmish games or with any game. But if there's not a ton of people playing this game locally and you're thinking about getting into it, you look at what's the barrier to entry. Well, previously with the Warcry box set, it was $210. You had a bunch of terrain and 2 warbands. Or you could just buy a single warband for like $50, and it came with all your cards for your fighters, your ability card, and your actual models. So relatively cheap to get into the game. Now, however, you need your core rulebook, you need your warband, you need your, well, you get it, potentially the compendium or one of these other books as well. You know, obviously you have your cards and everything like that. So the fact of the matter is if you have to buy, let's say you're just brand new to the set, to Warcry, thinking about getting into it, and you say, okay, I gotta drop $230 on this box set, and then, okay, maybe I don't want to play these 2 warbands, or I want to add in 1 more warband. Now I have to buy a compendium as well, which is probably going to be, let's say, $50. So now I'm at $280. And then, you know, maybe you want to pick up another warband at some point in time down the line. Maybe you don't, and you just stick with that. But now you're talking about, you know, $300 to $400 range for what's supposed to be like a little skirmish game. Now, granted, that's enough for 2 players to play and everything like that, and I get it. And I understand prices on things are going up. But, I mean, you cannot keep just crushing the consumer with this. Because the problem with Games Workshop right now is, sure, Warhammer 40k is in a good place. Age of Sigmar is in a good place. You can argue with those statements if you want, but overall, they're trying to balance the game and trying to give everybody new rules. You know, sometimes it takes a little longer, etc., whatever. But the games overall are fun and competitive and enjoyable. Now, that being said, the growth is the main issue with Games Workshop. They had a big surge of people coming in with the beginning of the pandemic and everything, and those same people and lots more have gone right back out. So when it's all said and done, 2 years ago, you know, if you look at how many people are playing GW games, I would say you look at how many people are playing right now, and it's probably right around the same. I don't think we've had a massive increase in the player base. I don't think we've had a massive decrease in the player base, but we're definitely not growing it, and not like how much we should be for how popular it has been over the last few years. So pricing something like this, an entry game, you know, a skirmish game for Sigmar at $230 is just a huge mistake in my opinion. Matter of fact, I think really they should have done like, I mean, I know they're not going to go down from $210, but I think they should have done like $190. So when it's all said and done, am I going to pick up this game? Yes. Am I a hypocrite because I'm going to buy the game even though the price went up? To some degree, sure. But also, again, I remind people of this. I have a channel that I can create content on the things I buy from GW. So a lot of times you can subtract whatever I get from that content from the price of the box set. So for instance, if I was not going to buy this box set, I would generate no income from anything further to do with Warcry, you know, except for maybe a video when it comes out, whatever. So when it's all said and done, I might make a couple dollars, but I didn't spend any of them on the Warcry. So then the alternative is I buy this Warcry set and then I do an unboxing video, and maybe I do a painting video or an assembly video or a review video or something like that. Maybe I do a couple of those. Maybe each video is, you know, they're not going to be super popular or whatever, but maybe each video is $30 to $50, let's say, from it. Nothing crazy. But realistically, if I get 3 videos out of this and they average $30 to $50 each, the box set is, you know, basically paid for. So it puts me in a different situation where I'm willing to pay more for something. Also, I get a decent discount, so I'm buying things at a discount. It's paying for itself with the monetization of, you know, videos that we do on the topic. And then when it's all said and done, you know, I'm basically getting it for very cheap or free. So that's why a lot of times I'll say I wouldn't normally buy the entire contrast paint range, but I'm picking them all up so that I can review them and give you my honest opinion and et cetera, et cetera. So that's how it kind of justifies in some ways. Now, do you have to agree with that? No. I'm just telling you guys the truth. I like to keep it real with you. You know, I don't accept free products from companies in exchange for good reviews or anything like that. I'm glad to check out some of these products, but expect me to keep it real. So, you know, if it's not a good product, I'm probably not your guy, because I'm going to tell the truth about it. So with this new box set, I love the components. I love everything about it. I'm glad that they upgrade the Warcry edition. I don't think we necessarily needed it, but it's nice to have everything kind of piled into one place. It seems like they didn't make a lot of changes, so I think overall the changes should be good. Like the new warbands, like the new terrain, everything about it except for the price. I think $230 or $280 Canadian is just too much. It's out of control. Is this ever going to stop with GW? I mean, not until something drastically changes. So, you know, until their player base just falls off a cliff, until their sales fall off a cliff or something like that, we're not going to see any changes. So, you know, it is what it is. We can boycott them. We can keep buying their stuff. We can do whatever. But let's just be real. Let's just be real. Let's accept that this is GW and this is what we're going to get from GW. And if we want to keep playing GW games or buying GW minis or whatever, we should just continue to expect this. So while every once in a while, you know, I'll make one of these videos and I might seem a little PO'd or, you know, a little aggravated or rant a little bit. But the truth is, we know what we're getting into if we keep playing these games. We know what we're getting into if we keep collecting the miniatures, you know, the terrain, whatever it is that interests you, the lore, etc. So it is what it is. $230 for the new Warcry box set. Is it too much? Yes. Am I still going to pick it up? Yes. Let me know if you are going to be picking this up. Are you excited? Were you thinking about getting into Warcry and now there's just absolutely no chance you're doing it? Are you just whatever at this point in time about the price increases and you're just desensitized towards it? Always like to hear back from you guys. We did hit 5,000 subscribers. For that, I am absolutely just blown away. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Each and every one of you is a valued member of the community. Obviously, if you do enjoy these videos, daily reactions, reviews, and news, we have tons of playlists full of painting, modeling, conversion, magnetization tutorials. Pretty much anything you can imagine for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, Warcry, and then, of course, some Horus Heresy as well. Pretty much all of Games Workshop games, tabletop, war games, etc., D&D, daily content, all kinds of fun stuff, just from somebody that is passionate about the hobby. And obviously, you know, appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure to leave those likes. Make sure to subscribe and share the video with your friends. But that is it for today. I am Warhammer Man. This is Warhammer Man Studios, and I'm out of here.